How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So we just had our very first auction on collectorscomics.com, and I could not be more thrilled with the results. I'm still actually kind of in shock with the results that we got. We had comics that were breaking records, selling more than they would have if they're on Heritage or eBay or Comic Link or Comic Connect. I'm just so surprised at that alone. I thought it was going to be way worse. Everything was just going to go for like next to nothing, and it was, and that would be the end, and we'd end up closing up shop or something. We've been working on this website for about 5 years now, and it's cost us like I think around $400,000 to build out what we have so far. We're still building things out. And we finally launched our very first auction. Yeah, there are some bugs and some issues, but again, we aren't charging anything to use our service, 0% seller's fees, no buyer premiums, because I don't feel comfortable charging someone something that's not fully done. And, there's still kinks and features that we want to add in, but the results are amazing. We did $200,000 in total sales on our very first auction. That's nearly $250,000 that we did in our very first auction. And like I said, we had comics breaking records. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for those who gave us a shot. Whether you sent us stuff in that we put up and listed in the auction, or you just bought, or simply you just told someone about, or even just checked out on your own. Thank you. It means a lot. We're trying to get this thing going and, hopefully be one of the big dogs in the comic book auction field. So this is a very first good step, I would say. So yes, let's look at some of the record-breaking prices. Now, these aren't all of them. I'm not going to be here forever. We had about 450 listings. I'm just going to show you a few, just random ones I picked out, some that I thought were kind of interesting. And yeah, so let's look at some record-breaking prices. So first up, we got Fantastic Four number 94. This is the first appearance of Agatha Harkness. And ours sold, a 9.6 sold for $3,020. I could not believe it. And if you look at the previous sales, the top one is going to be the previous record. The previous record for a 9.6 to ever sell was $2,450 back in November, and that was on eBay. And the most recent sale, which is the next number, was a 9.6 in January, so like a month ago, sold for $1,825. So when I saw this thing go for $3,000, I was like, what? I am so confused, because I thought I was like, please just go for like nothing. That was like my biggest fear, that a lot of these books were going to go for like nothing, and then no one was going to give us anything to ever sell for them, and just to spiral down, down, down. But that wasn't the case. Like, look at this next book. We got Avengers 121 and a 9.8. We sold it for $416. The previous record was sold in 2013 from Comic Connect, and it sold for $354. So we definitely did a lot better on that. And then also the most recent sale was earlier in February for $215 on eBay. So ours more than doubled one that was just a very recent sale. Next we got is House of Mystery 152. We sold ours in 9.6 for $1,625. Now, if you're looking at the previous record, you're like, whoa, why are you putting down for a 9.4? Why? Because this was the single highest grade. So there's nothing really to compare it to. But if you compare it to a 9.4, the record was $300 back in 2014. And then recently in July, 9.4 sold for $204 on Heritage. Then we got up is Aquaman 54. This was a 9.6. Now, this is one of 3 copies. So there's this one and 2 other ones that exist. But ours sold for $820. The previous record was sold on eBay back in 2004 for $262. And most recently, like I said, they don't sell that much, was in 2005. One sold for $94 on eBay. Yeah, I mean, there's not that many out there, so they don't sell that often, but I looked at other Aquaman around that same time period that aren't like keys or anything like that, and ours still did really well compared to those other issues. Now, this one is our last record I'm going to talk about, and I was super nervous about this one because it's a Fantastic Four number 1, and I was extremely surprised what it sold for, because when we were watching it, I remember for like almost like the first week, it was only up to $2,000. And I'm like, ugh, it's gonna go for like nothing. We're gonna be, oh, so bad. So anyways, so let's look at Fantastic Four #1. That was basically our biggest ticket item that we had in the auction. All right, so our Fantastic Four #1 sold for $15,555 for a 1/8, and that is a record price. The record before was during the comic boom, and that was in May, sold on eBay for $15,250. The most recent sale, though, for a 1/8 was back in September for $11,800, and that was on eBay. The craziest thing is, if you look at the bottom, you'll see a 2/0 back in September, so a few months ago, sold on Heritage for less than our 1/8 did. Yes, on Heritage, a 2/0 sold for $14,400 in one of their auctions. Ours sold for more and was a lower grade than that. Now, that just blew me away once I saw that. I couldn't believe it. And also then I was thinking, oh, there's a bunch of people bidding and they're actually not going to pay for it. But we've had, actually within the first week, we probably had like, I think almost 90% of our stuff has been paid for, close to it, somewhere around there, 85, 90%. We don't have very much stuff left to be paid for. And then this one was also bought by a longtime customer of ours. So I was like, okay, yeah. And he buys stuff from us all the time. We actually had a conversation probably about a month ago for another big book that he was interested in. So that's great. Like, I could not believe it that it sold for this price. Me personally, I've told people Fantastic Four #1 is a good book to get. So him buying it at this price, don't worry. It's still a good deal, because these books are just going to keep on going up, especially as we get closer to where the Fantastic Four is coming in the MCU. Now, here are a bunch of other books that went for above their fair market value. So I'm just going to give you a list of things that went higher than the fair market value. And the way to determine fair market value, this is the average price of the last 90 days. If it has enough sales, if it has one sale, that's not enough to consider a fair market value. But if it has 3 to 7 sales in the last 90 days in this grade range, I consider that's basically what it's kind of worth, the fair market value. So let's look at a couple books that beat their fair market value on our auction. Okay, first we got up is this Spider-Man #5 in a 2.5. It sold in our auction for $975, and the fair market value is $903. We have a Detective $359, first appearance of Barbara Gordon as Batgirl. That sold for $1,252, fair market value $1,200. And then a Hulk 181 in a 5.5 sold for $5,250, and the fair market value is $4,828. Then we got a New Mutants 98 first Deadpool selling for $535, fair market value for a 9.4 is $509. Submariner #1 is 7.0, sold for $786 when the fair market value is $745. And last, we got Gambit, first appearance, X-Men 266, sold for $285, fair market value is $245. Now, with fair market values, there's books that sell above that, but then there's also ones that sell below that. So the fair market value is kind of like the average. You have ones, maybe that, first Gambit, there's ones that sell for like $200, but then there's ones sell for like $325 in that grade range. But you just kind of average everything out. So these beat the fair market value in auction. But, not everything is sunshine and rainbows. So there are some ones that didn't beat the fair market value. And it wouldn't be fair if I only told you the highlights and not the lowlights, I guess. Yeah, so let's look at some ones that didn't beat it. Like I said, there's more that beat the fair market value, and there's also more that went under fair market value, but I'm not going to be here all day. Like I said, 450 listings. So let's look at some ones that didn't quite hit the mark. Okay, we got Caliber Presents #1. This is the first appearance of the Crow. It sold for $752 and a 9.6 when a most recent sale was for $1,081. Not too many sell in this grade range, so there wasn't very many to go off of. But then we have Ghost Rider number 1, which there's plenty to go off of. So for $1,080 when the fair market value is $1,123. So pretty close. Raphael number 1 and a 9.0 are sold for $410 when the fair market value is around $510. Then we have Spider-Man number 78, and that sold for $471 and an 8.5 when the fair market value is all the way up to $620. Then we have X-Men 12, first appearance of Juggernaut. That sold for $1025 when the fair market value is around $1091. And then last, we got the first appearance of Silver Surfer, and that sold for $1,750 at a 3.5 when the fair market value is roughly around $1,958. So yes, not everything sold as high as it could have been, but here's the thing. Like I said, we have 0% seller fees and no buyer's premium. So even though that, say, Fantasy 448 sold for about $200 less than the fair market value, even if you sold it on eBay, you're looking at 10% in seller's fees. Then you're looking at a 3% payment processing fee. And then there's all the other fees, like listing fee, all this kind of stuff. It roughly works out to be about 15% overall when you calculate everything in. So if you would have sold that on same one on eBay, you're spending an extra almost $300 in fees that you wouldn't be with our website. But then again, you can send it to someone else who maybe is only 10%, so you'll be losing about $200 in fees. And maybe it'd go for a little more, maybe it wouldn't. Who knows? That's the thing with auctions. You never really know who's watching, who's bidding, and what the price will end up at. So we learned a lot from this auction, and we have a laundry list of things that even you guys sent in, is like, hey, this doesn't work, or hey, where is this, or why don't you have this? And so we're going to give that to our developer, and hopefully he will make all these changes for our next auction, which will begin April 30th, and we will be taking submissions all the way up pretty much until a week before it starts. So April 22nd is the deadline for any consignments that you guys want to send to us. Just go to our website, collectorscomics.com. There's links and stuff to go through, how to submit, things like that. So thank you, and I look forward to doing another one with you guys in April. Have a good day.